Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to do something kind of cool. We're taking one of the most basic words you can think of, mourning, and using it to unlock a whole system for communicating clearly and powerfully. You ready to see what's hiding in plain sight? All right, let's jump in.
So here it is, mourning. You've probably said this word thousands, maybe tens of thousands of times. It's so common, we don't even really think about it? But it turns out when you actually stop and take a closer look, there's a lot going on right under the surface. And that really brings us to the big question for today. What can this one single everyday word teach us about the power of simple language? As you're about to see, the answer is, well, it's actually huge.
So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the word itself, and that'll lead us to uncovering something called the basic English list. Then we're going to do a quick anatomy of the word mourning to see how it all works. And finally, we'll zoom out and talk about why any of this really matters.
Okay, so let's start digging. If you were to look up the word mourning in a simple dictionary, you'd find this tiny little note, super easy to miss. But that note, it's our first real clue. It points to a much bigger idea about how language is designed for absolute clarity. And this is that note, is on the basic English 850 list. Now, this isn't just a random piece of trivia. It's a tag, a little signpost that's telling us mourning is part of a very exclusive, very important club of words. And here's the magic number, 850. So why 850? It's not just a number pulled out of a hat. It represents a very carefully chosen core vocabulary. But what's it for? Well, the basic English 850 list is exactly what it sounds like, a foundational set of words. The whole idea is that with just these 850 words, you have all the building blocks you need for most day-to-day conversations. And this is the really crucial part. You have the tools to explain much more complicated ideas. It's all about making communication efficient and crystal clear. So, now that we know about this system, let's see how that philosophy of simplicity actually works in the real world. We're going to put the dictionary entry for mourning right under the microscope. We'll break it down into 3 key parts. First, how you say it. Second, its main job as a noun. And third, its other job as an interjection, like a greeting. So let's kick things off with how it sounds. Right away, the entry is super clear about this. In the UK, it's more like mourning, without that hard R sound. But in the US, you definitely get that R in there, mourning. It's a small difference, sure, but it's spelled out, so there's absolutely no confusion. And this is brilliant. The entry also points out that mourning sounds exactly like mourning, the word for being sad after someone passes away. By highlighting this homophone, it helps you avoid a pretty common and potentially awkward mix-up. It's such a simple, smart way to teach. Next up, its main job, a noun. And look at this definition. It's so simple. The period from sunrise to midday. That's it. And the example sentence, it was cold when the sun rose in the morning, uses other simple words to paint a picture that anyone, anywhere can instantly understand. But it also has a second job as an interjection. And the way it's explained is key. It's a clipping of good morning. Even the word clipping is a simple way to explain a linguistic idea, just shortening a phrase. And the example, morning, Kath, it's just so direct and relatable. All right, so we've been deep in the details of just one word. But what's the takeaway here? Let's zoom back out and connect all this to the bigger picture of how we communicate. Think about it. This one simple word, mourning, is like a gateway to all these other big ideas. It connects you to the whole B850 system, to grammar concepts like nouns and interjections, to ideas about time, and even to tricky things like homophones. When you truly master this one word, you're actually mastering a whole network of ideas. And honestly, nothing sums up this whole philosophy better than this quote from the source. Mourning can be a greeting, similar to hello. Mourning should only be used in the morning. I mean, it's so direct, it's practical. There's just no room for doubt. That is the absolute essence of simple, effective teaching. Which really leaves us with a final big thought to chew on. In this world where we're drowning in information, is the secret to better communication just learning more and more words? Or is it maybe about truly mastering the essential ones, those fundamental building blocks that all our biggest, most complex ideas are built on? Something to think about.